video is about my daughter, Nailah Partridge. She was 18 years old and she just recently passed away in August from self-harm. She committed suicide and she took her life.
I still don't know if I was gonna write the letters, which is why I made this video. I don't know who's gonna get the video right now or if they're even gonna get it. But the reason I'm making a video is to explain myself.
Okay, go.
Come on.
Okay. Nailah had just graduated and she was set to go to the State Institute for Art downtown Atlanta. She was going to take up music because she was a writer and she had been writing since she was 12 years old.
They mad that I'm getting, they gon' keep on hating, they mad cause they wanna be seen. He wanna be put on the show, but no lyrics to speak. He be thinking that he gon' be me. His mouth keep on talking, don't know how to stop it, it's quiet cause I just ain't no one can speak. They wanna have money, still trying to be famous, but got nothing worthy to put on the scene. Right on that, but like a tractor, reaming that, I go backwards. Heard you this back and you got scared. You ain't for real, you an actor. I'm running that rest, take a pee with my pace, now I'm back, I just letting y'all know. They ask what I'm doing, I'm heading out glitzy, they trying to get put on it, not for show. Protect on my wrist and go crazy, half of these are some classics, a baby. Joy protecting, I'm blessing your safety. Young, he's back and he's finna go crazy. Look, they heard you this back, gon' come with a tap and that knife with your spine, let it run up your back and your man with the glove, let it get my strap. They be talking about this, but don't know about that. Heard I'm
Around this time that she was set to graduate, she had also been in a relationship with someone from the school for 2 years. They were in the band together, they were dating. This wasn't the main cause of what happened, but this was also a contributing factor. So I'm not gonna highlight that, but I will talk about it later on in the video. Why am I making this video? I'm making this video for people that are currently struggling with mental illness, that are currently having struggles with depression, whatever it may be that you're going through in life. I think that we definitely don't show when things like this happen because we can tend to be ashamed, we can tend to be grieving and just in our own space. But I feel like if this video could help someone, then I want it to help someone. I was always weary about Nailah sharing her story, but she was very open and she wanted to share her story if it would help someone else. Who Nailah was so many things. She was a songwriter, she was a daughter, a cousin, a niece, a granddaughter. She was so many things to so many people, a friend, just so many wonderful things. And it's hard to sum up 18 beautiful years in just, a single video. I will play some clips so you can get a feel for Nailah and who she was.
Nailah Partridge.
Like, it doesn't matter who I talk to, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm drained so bad.
That's my first time doing that.
I don't know what day it is now because I haven't been making videos for a while, so I'm not even sure what day I'm on now.
There we go, there we go, there we go. Yes.
Well, I feel like I don't have to deal with nothing anymore. I know it's not gonna 100% bring me at peace because I'm gonna leave all of this stuff that I still have here. Gonna leave my family, my mom, my sister. I know it's so much that I'm leaving behind, but at the same time, I'm taking away pain that I couldn't deal with.
Before we go into the video, I want to give a disclaimer to anyone that may be going through, that may be currently struggling. This video is very detailed, it's very in-depth, and depending on where you are right now in what space, I wouldn't recommend that everyone watch this video. I would only recommend that you watch it if you are able to take on the information and it not affect you in a negative way. So my hope is that people can gain some positive insight from my situation, even though, you know, my family, we lost our battle, our struggle with depression. Hopefully this video can help someone else in their family or someone that's currently going through. I wouldn't want anyone to go through this, but you know, mental health is a real thing, and we have to be able to talk about it. I would like to talk about it, but like I said, if you're unable to talk about it or handle it in any capacity at this time, I would ask that you go ahead and click off the video.
Okay, I still don't know if I was gonna write the letters, which is why I made this video. I don't know who's gonna get the video right now or if they're even gonna get it, but the reason I'm making a video is to explain myself. So I don't even know where to start. Like, mentally, I am so drained. Like, it doesn't matter who I talk to, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm drained so bad. And the thing was, I kept fighting. I don't want nobody to be upset with me because I kept fighting like I was, and I was trying my best. Even when it didn't look like it, I really was. Every day. So I don't want anybody to be upset with me or hold resentment against me because I was going through something. I just didn't know how to handle it properly. I don't even know who to start with. I guess for my friends, y'all were really good friends. Oh my God. Like, y'all always knew how to make me laugh, and like, even when I wanted to cry, I used to be sitting in front of y'all face and wanted to cry. Y'all would make me laugh so bad. Like, y'all are the best friends anybody could ask for. I can't go one by one because all of y'all are really great. Sawyer, Adrian, Nailah, Lauren, Brooklyn, Kaylee, Brianna. I love all of y'all so much. Elijah and Matthew. Y'all were really good friends to me. I know y'all were so tired of me talking about boys, but y'all still listen. Look, I got an eyelash on my shirt. Let me take this off, but y'all still listen. Y'all were still nice, especially you, Matthew. I know you got tired of me, but you still listen. And for that, I can't thank you enough for listening. Who else? I'm trying to think who else. I can't really think of anybody else from my family. I tried so hard, bro. I'm sitting here, I don't want my sister to grow up alone, because there's so much that a big sister's supposed to teach the little sister, but I am in so much pain and I cannot hold it no more. I love my sister more than anything in this world. I would die for my sister. I would rob somebody for her. I would do anything in this world for my baby sister because I love her so much. But I wouldn't even want my sister to see me like this because I love her so much, or my mom. But everybody else looked at me different. My mom did it. She was the only one that didn't look at me different. Even aside from my friends and my family member, my mom was the only one that was there. She let me cry in her bed all the time. She let me cry in her arms all the time. Even when I was stop crying for 5 minutes to cry the next time, just stop to cry, she would still let me do it. And tell me that it's gonna be okay. And I wanted it to be. I was listening. I wanted everything to be okay. And it felt like if I was ignoring it, which I was, it was gonna be okay for a second, but it really wasn't. Who else? Maya. Oh my gosh, Maya was a good dog, y'all. I didn't like to clean up after her all the time, but she was a good dog. She was my first dog, and I miss her. Who else? You know, I can't go everybody specifically, but Grandma, Auntie, Mikey, Uncle Nori, Jody, all of y'all were my best friends. The best family I could ask for. My cousins, I would do anything for y'all. I'm just hurting way too much. Like, mentally, I feel so alone. Okay. When physically, I know I'm not. I don't think I wanted anybody to see me like this. So I don't want the video to be longer than it already is, but I want to say for anybody, for anything that I did, I'm sorry. I was still learning. I was still growing. And I just want to say thank you for everybody, because if it wasn't for the stuff that y'all did, I don't think that I could have got in as far in life as I did. I'm not blaming this on a person because it's not anybody's fault, but mental health awareness is very real, and I didn't realize that before until I actually had to go through it myself. I wouldn't recommend anybody give up, which is why I didn't. But I just want to say thank you, everybody. If everything does go this way, I'm sorry. I really don't want anybody to be upset with me. Cause while I feel like I don't have to deal with nothing anymore, I know it's not gonna 100% bring me at peace. Cause I'm gonna leave all of this stuff that I still have here. Gonna leave my family, my mom, my sister. I know it's so much that I'm leaving behind, but at the same time, I'm taking away pain that I couldn't deal with. So I'm still scared. Even right now, this moment, I'm still scared. And even though I'm crying, I don't want nobody else to be sad. I don't want nobody else to be crying because I want you to cry because I want y'all to think of the happy times. Because I do and I will. That's what was keeping me throughout all the good times, not the bad ones. So, like I said, I really don't want anybody to be upset with me. I just want y'all to try to understand where I'm coming from. But I was trying really hard, but nobody's up here except for me. I literally prayed about it. I talked to God about it. I told God, I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm fighting so hard, but I can't. Like, my battle, it feels like one of those battles that I've lost. And I had to just take that to the chin. Like, you're not gonna win everything. Sometimes you're gonna lose. So if I do go through with this, for me personally, I always knew that God was with me in the form of the number 3. 3 is my number. So I know that if I do leave, that I'll always be hearing the number 3. I know that sounds weird, and I can't really explain it. But I know that He is present with me. Like, when I feel like I'm alone, I know He's present with me and I'm not alone in the form of the number 3. So I just want y'all to know that too. Like I said, I'm sorry, but I'm so tired. Like, I'm sitting here looking at my mom and see how she didn't give up, which is what I did either. But I feel like so much has happened. I've been through so much that I don't know what to do. And part of it feels like I'll never know. So I'm saying I know that sometimes you might never, that's how life works. You might never know, but I think I've come to terms with it. The never know. So like I said, I don't know if I'm still gonna write notes. This is just off the top of my head. But I just want to say I love all you guys so much, so much, and I really don't know what else to say. I love you guys with all my heart. And I think that's it.
That video is pretty heavy to watch, even though I've watched it a few times. I'm gonna go into my thoughts on the video, my thoughts on just, you know, as much as I can, but I'm gonna just take a little break. The first thing that I want to say to anyone that is currently struggling, to definitely reach out. Don't be in isolation. Reach out to someone, whether it's a hotline, a family member. It is people that love you, and it's people that want to see you here, alive, well, and healthy, and in a good mental space, not just alive. Just a little bit about Nailah's history. She was in counseling before. There were some events that played a part in her sadness and depression just from her family. Some decisions that I had made, I had her very young. I won't speak so much on that situation out of respect for her grandmother's side of the family, because we all raised her and we contributed towards who Nailah was as a person and her well-being. If they want to come out and, you know, speak about that, they can definitely do so, but out of respect, I won't speak for them or about his relationship with Nailah. What I will say is, when her father moved away, it was difficult for her. At the time, I didn't really realize how deep or how intense that pain ran for her. I met my husband when she was 5, my son was 2. He would go up to their school and time with them, just show up in ways to let them know that he cared for them and he was going to be interactive and not just be there. Her aunts and uncles showed up for her. They were phenomenal. She had support from different angles. She had support from myself, from her aunts, her uncles, her grandmothers. So there was definitely a lot of family around. To what magnitude of support that she may have needed may have been a little bit more, but I will say that everyone was definitely pitching in and doing the best that they could. The way that she displayed, she was very soft-spoken for the most part. You know, she did have her moments later, and I'll get to that, but it was never any physical aggression. She never attacked me. She never attacked anyone in the family. So with her not being so physically aggressive, that also could have been misinterpreted differently by the people around her as well, and myself. As far as her mental health as a whole, there were some issues in the family, but I felt like it wasn't anything that we all couldn't get through as a family. She had done some counseling while she was younger and had done counseling previously. She was also doing counseling in her last year as a senior. There would be times where she would have to stop practice for a minute, jump on a Zoom call. For the most part, I would take her in person, but with her schedule becoming so busy during senior year, there were times where she had to jump on Zoom, even though the counselors did prefer her to be in person. If there was a day that she wasn't feeling good, I would, you know, just pull up and come wherever I could if she needed me. Anytime that she would call me and be like, "Mommy, come pick me up," I would come pick her up. She went to Arabia because she wanted to do band, she wanted to do music, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for her, being that she had a lot of family support on her dad's side and she was passionate about music. There was one particular time where we were having a conversation and she ran out the house, and I was pretty worried about her running out the house. She didn't go far. She went next door to the neighbor's yard, but she didn't have shoes on her feet. She had one shoe on her feet, and we went and looked for her, and when we found her, of course, like I said, she was right next door in the neighbor's yard. And when she got inside, I talked to her and just asked her why she had ran out and, you know, not let us know. And I think that also was another sign that even though it was so early in the beginning, we didn't really see, because Nailah was never a problem child. I still wanted her to just be around as much as possible, as much as she possibly could, because she was always my baby and I always loved her, and just having her presence around was a blessing. Just see her voice or hear her singing something or saying, "Mommy, come look at this new beat or this new song that I have." She would always show me things that she was working on. She told me that she wanted to be in the same high school consistently for 4 years. And being a person that in my childhood I did have to attend different high schools, I felt the effects of what that was like, and I wanted her to have the best opportunities that were available to her. So we decided to go ahead and move forward with Arabia Mountain High School. She had been going to the school, I would say, about 2 years before she met this particular young man, about 10th, maybe 11th grade. So they had seen each other around school, but like she told me, they hadn't shown much prior interest in each other. He may have been dating someone at the time. She had previously dated someone before. Year one seemed to go okay. She would tell me a lot about him. There wasn't many moments that we didn't talk or share, even though, no matter what, she would call me, tell me about how her day was, who she had met, what she was doing. When I met his family, I thought that they seemed very hardworking, very nice. His mother's situation was pretty similar to mine. She had had him young, and I know how it is to be a young mother, just a parent, period. You want the best for your children. And no matter what, you want them to be okay, and you want the best, especially having them young. And I understand the sacrifice that it takes to just be a parent. Her grandmother, her aunts and uncles would also help with like coordinating whether, they would go out or do something. He went to her grandmother's house and he spent time with her family, her cousins over there. He had been to my place, spent time with us as well. I had picked him up as well. They would also pick Nailah up. She went to church with them at some point, and so it wasn't a mystery as to who he was, who his family was, and we did not make ourselves a mystery as well. So we made ourselves available to meet and just to be involved and figure out who it was that she was taking on. That was very important to us. She was my daughter, and I wanted to know who was in her life and who she was around. With Nailah, a lot of these issues, as far as her becoming physical towards herself, didn't start until after their first breakup. There was an incident that happened between them that did cause some stress in their relationship, and they would go from trying to work on things to being upset with each other to trying to work on things. And Nailah cut herself while she was at school. Her grandmother gave me a call, the school had gave her a call and let us know what happened. So we had to go up to the school, sit down with the counselor and speak with her, speak with Nailah at this time. She was starting back counseling, and we had to put a safety plan in place, let them know what our plan was for her at home, what the plan was for her at school. So we had set up a plan where if she had feelings or thoughts that came up, she could go and speak with the counselor. And I pretty much had my phone by me and made myself available in case she needed to call me or any of my children needed to get in contact with me. It's important to me to make sure that, they could reach me. Her second attempt happened earlier in the year, around January, and we were at home. This was, I want to say, after their first breakup, maybe the second breakup. And I just remember her crying and saying that she wanted to reach out to him and she wanted to talk to him, and I just advised her not to, just to leave it alone, give it some time. She tried to make a call from my cell phone, and I told her that I didn't want her to make the call from my phone. And I just remember her being really sad, really frustrated, that whatever feelings that she wanted to talk about or get across, she couldn't, get across. And that was a really rough night for her. When I went to sleep that night, she went into the kitchen and there was some medicine in the cabinet, and she had taken the medicine out, taken some pills. She had taken about 3 different pills. And the only way that I found out is because I got up the next morning and it was thrown up on the carpet. At first I thought maybe my youngest had gotten sick and she threw up and just didn't get a chance to clean it up. But then I figured maybe whoever did it, I was just kind of wondering more so why they didn't tell me even if I had to help. So I asked my oldest daughter, and she did let me know that it was her. And at that point, I just began wondering like what made her throw up. I was more so possibly thinking that it could have had something to do with pregnancy. But she told me that she did take some pills and she wasn't sure. We ended up going to the hospital the next day. They did the intake, and the main thing was to get the medications that she had taken to make sure that they could clean her system and that those medications wouldn't hurt her or her internal organs. We spent about 3 days at Children's Hospital so that they could clean her system before she was transferred to, I want to say, Ridgeview in Monroe, Georgia. It's a mental institution. They have a side for children and a side for adults. While we were in the hospital, they asked me to sign a consent, basically saying that she could be transported, but because I have always been so protective over my children, I was scared to let them transport her alone. So I followed behind the ambulance up until the time that she got there, and I tried to go inside, and but they told me it was only a certain point that I could come back to. While she was there, even though she wasn't there very long, I want to say it was about 5 to 7 days, because she did have to do the mandatory hold, and they had to let the doctor speak to her, do an evaluation, give her a diagnosis, and set her up on medication for when she was released. We talked on the phone while she was there. She told me a lot of the stories about, what happened while she was there, the people that she had met, just a lot of the things that she had saw while she was there. She did express that she was also ready to come home. I was excited for her to come home, and eventually we had a meeting with the doctors. The first meeting, I initially thought it was just going to be like a 72-hour hold, but she wasn't allowed to come home. After the 72 hours, she had to stay a little bit longer. After we did the second meeting, we put together a plan. She had to have a counselor set up in place for her to come out and just make sure that, we knew where her triggers were, and she had a good plan set up to be able to return home.
I don't know what day it is now, because I haven't been making videos for a while, so I'm not even sure what day I'm on now. But it's still hard. It's hard feeling like I won't get anywhere. I already said I didn't lose it all, but it feels like I did. That change from not being in high school those 4 years to go into this. It feels weird. I'm gonna be honest, like, it does hurt a lot. Like, I've been waiting. It feels like maybe I haven't waited long enough. I don't know. Maybe I haven't did enough. Maybe I haven't wrote enough. I really don't know. But I haven't stopped writing. I still write all the time. Because I can't, even if I wanted to, I can't stop writing. It's what I love to do. So I don't want to make this one long, because I'm really not in a good place right now, but I just still want to come on here and make sure that I still tracking my journey. I still make a video at least, because I haven't. It's hard trying not to give up on myself. Like, even in times like this when it feels very hard, I'm trying not to give up and to keep pushing. and going. Because it'll be one thing for me to sit right here in this pain and just stay there, but it's another thing for me to sit in this pain and keep pushing and just keep pushing for what I want. You know, not to just stay in this for forever. I know God has something planned for me that's bigger than what I can even see right now. It hurts right now. I'm gonna be honest. It hurts so much, and I feel like I'm filled with a lot of pain right now. But I know in the end, God does have something way better for me planned. I just gotta keep going and keep pushing, even when it gets hard like this, like it is right now. So I'm gonna end the video here. But this is my journey. This is where I'm at. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm so freaking tired, bro. Tired. But I haven't stopped writing. The lyrics still flow from my head all the time, and I always still write them down. You know, I lost what feels like all of these friends. Life is just moving. And sometimes it feels like it's moving too fast for me. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to be very honest. That is what it feels like. And it hurts. And sometimes I don't know how to just carry all this pain. But, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Because all it takes is one yes. And hopefully, out of all these videos, I'll be able to come back and say that I got that yes. All it takes is like somebody said yes. Somebody looked at what I can do and said yes. You know, it's going to take a whole bunch of no's, getting ignored. And that hurts a lot, getting a no, because it's like, it's something that you want to do, but it's also something that I love doing, you know, like, so to me, a no is a little bit more than a no. It feels like it's grabbed me at my confidence, everything that I'm trying to build, you know. And you know, I'm not working with a team of people that I don't have a whole bunch of people that's doing this with me. I'm writing the lyrics by myself. I'm finding beats, but every word that I'm writing, it comes from me. I think it, I feel it, and I write it down. It comes from me. It comes from my brain, my heart. It comes from how I feel, how I see things. It all comes from me. You know, I'm doing this by myself. So I said I was about to end this video like probably 50 million times. I'm just gonna try to calm myself down. Try to get through this moment. Just get through right now. And I'm not even gonna just say hopefully it gets better. I'm praying that it gets better, you know. I'm asking God that it gets better. I know He's watching over me. He has a plan that's set in place for me. And that He's not gonna let me fail. Even when it gets hard. And every time I make these videos, I look a hot mess. I always get on here and make these videos and look a hot mess. But I like to make the real thing. Like, I don't like to fake it. Get on here and look all cute. Like, this is what I'm actually going through. Like, it's a lot of pain. It's a lot of hurt. It's hard. Like, it's very hard. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's definitely hard. But this is where I'm at now. Like I said, I don't know what day I'm on, but this is another video. I'm still here. I'm still trying. still pushing. Like I said, I'm still writing. Never stop writing, never gonna stop writing. It's my passion. I can't. That's what I do. I write music. This is this video, the end of this video, I guess. Bye.
Once she got out, we did follow up with her counselor. The situation with the young man that she was with at this time, both families had pretty much advised that they just move on from each other, give it some time, give it a break, or just leave it alone altogether. Her number was changed. Her grandmother, her aunts, uncles, they had gotten her number changed so that she could no longer contact this particular young man. His family had also advised that they just leave each other alone and moved on, because to us it was just seeming like it was becoming toxic and a bit much for them both to handle. And being parents, you want the best for your kids, the best opportunities possible. After she gets out the hospital, we advise them not to talk. They're still pretty much going to the same high school. They're in band together, so it's impossible to not completely communicate, but as far as the communication at home, it was still happening between the two of them. By the time we got to prom, it was the end of the year, so I was glad that the end of the year was coming to an end. They had the idea to go to prom together, and then the idea got canceled, and then they were back on set to go to prom. I really didn't feel easy about her going to prom with so much happening after this situation. At this point, we're past March, which is her birthday, so she has turned 18, which changed not a lot of things because she still had the support of her family, so it wasn't a thing of she turned 18 and then she has to leave and get out. No, like, we still love you, we're still here to support you, because 18 is very young. And at that age, a lot of times you don't know exactly what it is, what direction that you're going. You may have an idea, but we wanted her to know that she had the full support and love of her family. Even though we didn't like the idea of them planning to go to prom after so much had already happened, they were set to go and, just planning to go. And like I said, with her being 18, she also did not want to go to the counseling appointments anymore, so that became a challenge just between her schedule. I also want to mention that she made AB honor roll during this time, so she was a very good girl, very good student, surface level. You wouldn't be able to look at her and be like, So we were still pushing in a direction of graduation, we'll get to the summer, and then the Say Institute, because she was set to go to the Say Institute in September. When they went to prom, his mom offered to buy the prom dress, and I appreciated her for doing that. We came together to pay for pictures, food. Family would come, we would help her get dressed, got dressed over there. His mother went to prom with them, kept us updated. My daughter even rode, so we were thinking everything was okay. They're, having a good time. In between the breakup, she would tell me like some of the things that were being said, and a lot of me was just thinking like, okay, they're both young, and after graduation, she'll be able to move past this situation, because she was in 12th grade, he was in 11th grade. She would be graduating, he would still be there, but at this point, we were like, okay, we're almost to the end. They're gonna go their separate ways, but they continue communicating throughout the summer. There would be times that she would tell me about him picking her up. There would be some times that she wouldn't tell me about, but for the most part, she would, tell me that she was still communicating with him. And from my understanding, he hadn't told his parents that he was still communicating with her. He had a car at that time. He had just gotten his first car, so, I think he was definitely trying to stay in that car and keep that car with the agreement that he would not further communicate with Nailah. And, that it just didn't happen that way. There was also homecoming night when they, got dressed up, went for that as well, did her hair, and they went out to eat this particular homecoming night, and I remember sleeping in the car in the back seat just to make sure that she had gotten home safely. Even though he did have his car at this time, I still wanted to just make sure that the night went smoothly and everyone was safe. There was a lot of support between both of the families when it came between the two of them, just to make sure that they were okay. And so yeah. Now after prom, this is after May, around the time that she made that video, and also with the timing, I want to just clarify on that. This video was made back in May. After her passing, I had to go back and look through her phone where I was able to find this video. She had given me the letter shortly after she had gotten out of the hospital, and I'll read that a little bit later on, because some of her feelings did change, you know, within the time that she made that video until the time that she had actually taken her life. After prom, he was basically like, you know, prom is over now, so my plan was just to get to prom and pretty much let go. Summer will be here. I'll be starting school next year, and you'll be going off to music school, doing whatever you're doing. But it was a lot of emotional back and forth, so even though there would be some messages where he would be clear on the fact that he felt like they both should move on, or he would have concern for her doing certain things or taking her life, he was still making himself available to be there in the situation, and just to, there were times that she would tell me about, like, if it didn't go exactly the way that he would bring her back to the house. Like, they had went out, they hadn't been out for longer than 10 minutes, and she had agreed with the plans that they had set for that day. So he brought her back to the house. Things like that. Just a lot of mind games back and forth. He would definitely play a lot of head games, like, you know, he tried to even talk to her cousin at one point, and you know, for anybody dating, that's just like kind of one of the, it's just such a low thing that you can do, and try such a low place and space that you could try to hit somebody in, like to, you know, talk to their family member and then just, you know, cause commotion between them. It's very harmful, very hurtful, but it was something that he used as a tool to, you know, get back and anger, manipulate her. Her cousin loves her so much, and they've been there for each other since birth. So when she told me that, more than anything, it was just kind of like hurtful to see his actions and how everything was playing out, and just the things that he was choosing to do. He didn't seem like a bad young man at first. I remember complimenting him and telling him what a nice young man that he was, and also his mother. With him being at the same school with her, I had assumed that he was someone that was safe. He wasn't an older guy. He was someone that was familiar, that she had been around, that she had seen all 4 years while she was at Arabia Mountain, even though they didn't start dating until the last 2. Nailah was working to save up for her car, and we were also gonna go in to help her get her car. She was working at a bounty place with kids to save up, so she was working really hard. She was also in band. She also made AB honor roll, so she was definitely doing a lot of things that last year. In between these breakups, I don't know all the details, but like I said, she would share things with me. So he would say things to his friends or other people that they knew within their social circles and say that she was crazy and she had other stuff going on, like kind of making it seem like he really didn't want to deal with her publicly, but more so behind the scenes, or when it came to getting a benefit that was beneficial to him. I do want to make it very clear that even though he was not the center of the problems that Nailah had and her depression, I wouldn't want to take away from that, because it wouldn't do justice to what she had going on and other people that are going through this situation. Can you have situations that agitated, such as a person that you're dating in your life, a person that may not be a good friend or just may not be able to support you in the space that you're in presently? Yes, that can happen also. But we do want to put a highlighter on mental illness and the effects that it has on people, and how we all can just be so differently and have different thoughts, you know, and not be fully aware of that. I have looked through the device that I purchased for her, but there were 2 other devices that I did want to look through. The day of that everything happened, a family member on her side, her dad's side, came over and they took those devices. I thought that they were going to look through the devices, but that wasn't the case. But even though, you know, I really did want to take a look through those, I'm grateful that I have the phone that I had gotten her, because, you know, if not, I wouldn't have been able to see this video or just a lot of memories from her last few days. So I am grateful for that. I also wanted to look through those devices because he would text from like a sideline number, so it wasn't the main number. At this point, after, I want to say maybe after her second mental break, going to the hospital, he was kind of wary about talking to her. I think because if something happened, it was like, you know, taking the blame. So he texted her from a sideline number that would not, you know, identify or go back and correlate with his actual phone number. She also said that he had some accounts on social media where he would go look at the accounts from a private account or message her from accounts that were different from his main account. I just remember her telling me that the messages between them, the last few messages, were really mean, and that it was something that really hurt her. So I did want to just, you know, look through those devices just to cover all my bases. Whether she's here or not, my children are still my children, and I did want to see if there was anything additional to find. Now, if there is nothing additional to find, then I could say, you know, I could be okay to move on, but it's a whole nother thing not to, you know, have that option to see that. But I'm choosing not to hold on to that part in anger, because it would take away from Nailah's legacy, from Nailah's story. And I'm just grateful for, like I said before, what I do have to share and what Nailah was able to share and wanted to share. Whatever the conversation is with them, I want to move forward in love. The back and forth, demonizing anyone, it doesn't help. It doesn't bring her back. At the end of the day, all I can do is reflect on what is the lesson from Nailah's story, and what is my lesson to learn, and what things can I improve on, or how can I become better as a person, as a mother, as, you know, just a human being. How do I feel as a mother? Honestly, there are a lot of days where I feel like I let her down. It's a lot of moments that I play back. Maybe if I hadn't said this or hadn't done this or been more supportive here. And in my situation, my daughter expressed in notes, videos, and letters that she felt like I was there. But when your child is not here and you have nothing to show, or it feels like you have nothing to show, it can really be kind of hard to just be completely okay with the idea that, you know, you did do everything right. And just because we didn't argue, we didn't go back and forth, she wasn't aggressive, it doesn't mean that I did everything wrong, but it doesn't mean that I did everything right. And I think it's okay to say that there were some things that I missed, or I could have did better in this area, and just, you know, take ownership in that, but also see and share her story in hopes that it will help someone else going through, and another family that's, you know, going through this. The Say Institute downtown Atlanta is for music engineering. She wanted to take that on, learn how to write, how to make beats. So I told her to work on a portfolio before school started, so she would have a sample of her music and what it was, that just her sound, so she could go in with something. So that's what she was working on. She was putting together music samples, she was creating beats. She also had an interview to be a dance instructor. So I was really excited for her, and it was another music group that she had an interview with. We also ended up finding out that the father was the manager of this group of girls, and it was a group that she really loves. So she was really excited about the fact that she had been able to reach out and speak with him, and he gave some advice on just a path that she could start with. So I was there for the whole phone call and just really excited for her. At home, she was playing piano. The song that she loved was 7 years old, and she would play that song. I was trying to play a song by John Legend, and she was working on that song, and we would just, you know, come together on the piano sometime and just have beautiful moments, or it would be her and her sister playing on the piano. She was also writing a lot of Bible scriptures. I remember her handing me this tablet just filled with scriptures that she was working on, and she would break the scriptures down, the meaning, and she handed it to me one day and said, "Mommy, look at it." And I just remember looking at it, and I'm thinking that she's healing and she's getting better. And I put the book back down on the chair and, you know, went about my day. I didn't read it as detailed as maybe I wish that I would now, looking back at the moment. I remember having moments with her when she asked me what did I think about her. And like I said, the last few weeks, we spent a lot of time together, and I just remember telling her how wonderful that she was, how she had graduated, even going through everything with the mental back and forth, going to the hospital. She had still managed to make AP honor roll. I just remember telling her how super proud of her I was, and how I just thought that she was better than me, you know. She was this amazing girl with these bright, beautiful eyes, big smile, and she lit up any room that she went into. She also had prayers written up on her wall, and she had envelopes, and she was writing things that she was grateful for. She was writing situations that had hurt her in the past. She was writing, asking for forgiveness. So it was just so many things that she was also doing that it just seemed like our situation was going to turn around and get better. The morning of, it was so much going on that morning, because I remember her family reaching out, and everybody had been trying to check on her that week and call her. And I noticed that she would like leave her phone at the house, and she would, you know, operate off her tablet mostly. But then she started like leaving her tablet, and those were maybe some telltale signs at the time that I just didn't, you know, pick up on. But I had a phone long as one of us had a phone, you know, I figured we would always be okay. But just looking back on it, you know, most teenagers don't really leave their phone anywhere. Their phone is like their world, so they always have it with them. The night before, the day before, I would have days where I would rotate. So if I felt like she needed some time to herself that day, I would let her have some time. But if I feel like, okay, you've been in the room too long, or it's time to pull out the room, get out your space, you know, come out. So I would rotate between letting her be and then saying, okay, you have to come with me. Get out the bed, you know, get some sunshine, let's get some fresh air. So the day before, I had already forced her to come with me. So on this particular day, I was going to take my youngest daughter to the doctor and get my oil changed. And I remember going in the room that morning, her grandmother, everybody had reached out. So we had talked that morning, like maybe around 6 something. I want to say it was pretty early, definitely before 8. And okay, so running out of battery space, so I had to switch the camera. But so on this particular day, I was supposed to take my daughter to the doctor and then go to get my oil change. So I had went ahead and took my youngest daughter to the doctor, and then I went to get my oil change. And when I came back to the house, I had been at the house for a while. I didn't go in the room immediately because I figured, you know, she was laying down. I'll go in there and check on her soon, grab something to eat. I went outside for a minute, and I text my mom. I remember just talking to her about having dinner soon. And then I went to go to my daughter's room to check on her. So I remember knocking on the door, and I did like a little beat knock because she communicated through music. So instead of me doing a regular knock, I did like a little beat on her door. And, you know, I wanted to make her laugh, make her smile. I would always like send her little things, whether it was something encouraging throughout the day, and just let her know that it was going to be okay and that I loved her, and that I was going to be there. So love her, you know. When she didn't respond to the knock, I kind of pushed the door, but then I felt it bounce back. So I thought maybe she was like trying to close the door, getting dressed or changed or something, and trying to keep me from going in. And I remember turning around just to leave, but something just wouldn't let me walk away. So I went back to the door, pushed it again, same thing, like something pushed back against me. At this point, I'm just like, okay, I have to get in the room, like, to see her, lay eyes on her, because even though I could crack the door, normally she would be in her bed with the covers pulled up. As long as I could see her, I would go in and touch her head and, know that she was at least okay. So when I pushed in the room, there was a chair behind the door, and she had sat in the chair, and she had a belt around her neck. And I took the belt off because everything still wasn't registering with me at this point. I'm thinking, okay, I could still have time. And I did CPR and, just trying to do everything that I could, even though she felt cold to touch. It was just one of those feelings, but I was still doing CPR and the things that, you're supposed to do in that situation. So while I'm also doing CPR on my daughter, I also have my 8-year-old daughter who is outside of the room, and I'm trying to do everything in my power to keep her out of the room. So I'm having to leave out of the room, go check on my other daughter, go back in the room, and I'm just, so many thoughts, everything's going through my head at this time, and just thinking, like, what am I gonna do? I just lost my child, and my youngest daughter don't have an older sister anymore. My son doesn't have an older sister anymore, and I'm just, So this was definitely one of the roughest moments for me, and I was in such a shock that I was walking back and forth, hyperventilating, and crying. My daughter had to tell me to, call the police, because at this point, it was a moment, So when I called the police, they got here, and they did try to do CPR, and they tried to do everything that they could, but it was too late by this time. I had family come over, and, I had to talk to the police, provide just, information, a lot of things. And I didn't stay at the house that night. It was a really rough night for us. Still having a rough time because it's so close together. And just because you don't see me necessarily crying in this video, it doesn't mean that I haven't cried. It doesn't mean that I don't have moments where I go through and I may think about my daughter, and it doesn't mean that I won't have moments where it will hit me or come upon me, because it does, and it do. But I wanted to be able to get through this video without crying or getting too emotional, not because it's not an emotional situation, but because it was important for me to get this message across to someone else that may be going through or that may be struggling, even though it is an incredibly hard situation to deal with, to talk about, all of that. I laid on the floor. It took them about 30 minutes for the coroner to get here to take her body out. So I laid on the floor with her, and I held her. I think when we think of dead bodies and things like that, it can be very scary to think of a body of someone being dead or being in the same room or the same, location. Or for me, I had experienced death, but never the death of something as close as a child, and just being up and direct, on a situation like that. So, but in this moment, I wasn't afraid. I laid with her for 30 minutes, and I just told her that I love her, and I held her, and I was just with her. This is a message to young ladies. Prioritize yourself first, take care of yourself, because if you don't, then who else will? This is a message for young men. This is a message for young women. This is a message for people that are going through struggles, whether your struggle be depression, whether it be personality disorders, whether it be bipolar, whether it be anything dealing in the mental realm capacity. So many times we can carry things like this alone and isolate, but that's not really what we need. It's the love and support from other people that, help us get through. My daughter would like to isolate and be by herself a lot. You know, we would come into that space and make sure that she was okay. And if you have someone that is struggling and going through, you do want to check on them. Just step into their space sometimes and make sure that they're okay. Never overstepping, but you do want to make sure that they are okay. When she was here, I would tell her that you can spend so much time, so much effort on a person and they not give you the same thing back in return, and you could be dead and gone and they could, you know, care less if you're dead and gone. And you have to be careful about who you give your time and your energy to, because some people will, you know, take that energy, suck the life out of you and take all of what you have if you allow them to. If you're not in a good space, it's okay to step back and say, you know what, I need to take this time for me, or I need to get this help, or, you know, whatever it may be. And you just want to be careful how you treat people. And if you see that they are going through a tough time, don't just stay in a situation to get benefits or do what benefits you. Like, you know, you want to be human for a second, not for a second, but you just want to be human, period. You want to be human and make sure that that person is okay, because you would want someone to do the same thing for you or your family member if they needed that. Even though I was skeptical about putting this video up, I also wanted to put it up because people that loved her. Nailah was so much to so many people, and she was such a beautiful person, a beautiful spirit. I hope that, like I said, that it could encourage someone that is going through and just give them the strength to know that it's okay and you can make it through whatever it is that you're going through, that it's someone that loves you and they want to see you here and they care so deeply about you. And just to let you know that it is hope and that things will change. So sometimes all you have to have is the faith of a mustard seed, and the Bible talks about that. And even though I have experienced something truly heartbreaking, I still do believe that. Like I said, when she made that video, she was at a different point. She was right at the end of school, going into summer, and but over the summer she had a lot of situations that happened with friendships changing and transitioning. She did mention was very hard for her, which can be hard for a lot of young people. So if you do have a young person that is transitioning from high school into the world with today's times and so many things that these young people are going through, just be careful with them, be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be there for them in every capacity that you can. The most important thing is how you show up for a child. It doesn't matter how much money you send. It doesn't matter how many things that you pay for. It doesn't matter how many things that you pay for. The time invested, you showing up, you actually being there, present, in person, in the flesh, is the most important thing to them, and nothing will ever be able to top that. So, you know, that's so important, and you don't want to let things like that slip between the cracks. This was the last letter that she wrote for me before. This was when she was in the hospital and in Ridgeview in Monroe, Georgia. It says, "Hi, Mommy. Well, first, I wanted you to know that I'm sorry for everything, like how this whole situation worked out. I actually was trying my best to get back to normal. Then I kind of just got to a place where I felt like it wasn't going to get better. Throughout the past 2 months, I have spent a lot of time in my head blaming myself for things, thinking about what I did wrong or could have done differently, thinking what I did to deserve to feel this way, constantly trying to fix things, even if I might not have did anything, and heavily doubting myself. This isn't the first time that I've been at a low point in my life. It's just the first time that I've been at a low point to this extent. I want you to know that I was never ready to leave you. Even when I did what I did, I knew how much I love you and care about you, but then another side of me kept feeling like I couldn't handle feeling depressed anymore, or at least I thought that I couldn't. I know that what I did was a mistake. I didn't at the moment, but I do now. I realized after some time of us being here at the hospital that I'm still here because God knew that my story wasn't supposed to end here. I think He is trying to give me another chance, and as long as I'm still here, I'm willing to take that chance. I just want you to know that you did help me, Mommy. I wouldn't have been strong enough to get through any of this. I wouldn't have been strong enough to get through any of this if it wasn't for you. You were the one that sat with me all those times when I would cry every day. You were the one that would rush to the school to get me. You were the one that would rush to the school to get me after I had a panic attack. You would stay on the phone with me whenever I felt sad. You would always sit and listen to me talk. You always gave me really good advice. You always give me hugs and kisses. And lastly, you always stayed by my side no matter what. I'm glad to have a person like you here while I'm going through this difficult time. I do have to admit that I am really scared and nervous. I wish I could go back home, but I know that I have to get better. I actually do want to try to get better for you, Mommy, and myself. I want to try to feel like my old self, or maybe even a better version of my old self. I'm really scared to do this next part of my journey alone. If I have to be honest, being at the hospital wasn't as scary as I thought, because whenever I would wake up and open my eyes, I would always turn to my side and you would be there, so I wasn't as scared. I'm going to miss you, Mommy. Out of everyone, I am nervous to be apart from you the most. But I know that this is going to help me be better. I hope that you forgive me for all my mistakes, Mommy. I just want to make you proud. That's kind of what I wanted most out of life. I wouldn't have been able to get through any of this without you. I'm still nervous and scared, but I'm going to try to be strong for you. I want you to know that I love you more than anything and more than life itself. Thank you for everything. I love you so much. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Another little disclaimer that I do want to throw in there: if you have young people, remember that these people are young people and that they need time too. So if they're helping out with family, watching siblings, doing a lot of schoolwork, graduation, just school period, whether they're at graduation point or not, life can be different and stressful for this new generation, and they're having to deal with a set of problems just between the internet, between, new technology. It's a lot of things that they're having to deal with at once. So if you do have a teenager, or a teenager, pull them out the house sometimes. Go ask their parent, can you pick them up? Make sure that they're okay. Take them on an outing. If you are that parent, make sure that that child is getting that time and space that they need, because it's so very important. They do need that, and may not be able to always put that in words or express that to you at no matter what age, because our children love us and they never want to do anything to anger us or disappoint us. But we do have to keep in mind that they are young people that are adjusting to the world and trying to figure out life. So just make sure that you allow that time for them as well. My daughter has definitely started counseling. I have started some form of counseling, and I'm looking forward to doing more. It's going to be a process for us. It's not something that's just going to go away with, a few sessions of counseling, and it's going to be a process. It's going to take years. It's going to be moments, and just a bit at a time. If you have a family member that does suffer from mental illness, especially in the Black community, it can be not even just the Black community, in different communities, other communities as well. It can be something that you are looked down on for, or looked, like something is wrong with that person. You just want to be careful with that idea and that thought process, because it can push people away in a way that you never imagined or thought about, when maybe it's something that you could have said or you could have done that day that could have made a positive difference in that person's life. So you just want to be very careful, because life and death, is in the power of the tongue, and the words that we say are very strong in how they affect people. If you have a family member that suffers with mental illness, call them, check on them, show up in love, reach out in love, support in love, and compassion. You want to be careful what you say and learn how to validate what it is they're feeling. It doesn't mean that you agree with what they're saying, but you can say, I see you as a human and I validate what you feel. And I may not be able to feel that person, but I can validate your feelings and say that you know, that is something that you really are feeling, and it can be respected, and that's okay. You want to create that safe space for that person to be able to come to you and feel comfortable talking to you. You don't want to say, oh, it's not real, or stop tripping, or why you acting like this, because a lot of times that does nothing but push them away. It can be scary when someone talks to you about suicide, because you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, and really you want to help that person. And on the inside, you could be freaking out because it's like, it's scary, you know, but you want to make sure that you're being there for that person, whether it's something that they can get through at home, or maybe they do need to go to the hospital. The only thing that I would say that I do regret in my situation, even though I was there for my daughter, I think maybe just taking her to the hospital, but it was never a thing that I wanted to be hanging over her head. Like, if you don't do what I say, or you're not good, then I'm going to take you to the hospital. You never want to use something like that in that way as a way to punish someone that has mental illness that's going through, or a way to, you know, get them to act right, or the way that you want. It's only there as a tool should they need it. A person that's struggling with self-harm thoughts or suicidal thoughts, it doesn't mean that they don't want to be here. A lot of times people, just like, you know, any person, whether they suffer with depression, mental illness, they're looking for peace. And if you could be that person that could provide a kind and loving word for them, you would rather be able to say that I did that instead of hurt them, or say something negative and affect them in a way that wasn't good for them. Though you may not be able to give them all the pieces that they need, just showing up with that love and support can make all the world of difference at that moment. Nailah's story, it's such a beautiful story, and it's such a love story. She would always tell me that I was her true love, and I just remember thinking, you know, she grew up one day, fall in love, and but you know, that was my little love bug. And she, like I said, she was so much to so many people, and not just me. She was blessed to have her family, her grandmother, her uncles, her aunts, and her cousins. She was blessed, and she was a blessing to us. So the 18 years that she blessed us with, I'm so grateful to God that, you know, He allowed me to be Nailah's mother. He allowed me to be the vessel in which she came here, and her name means destined to succeed. Nailah's name, her first name, Nailah, was Swahili, which means destined to succeed. Her middle name, Angela, pronounced Angela, was given to her by her grandmother, which means angel in Spanish. Her grandmother is from Panama. And so yeah, her name was very special and given to her by people that loved her very dearly. I want to say thank you all so much for taking the time to just, you know, tune in and be here while I share my story, while I share Nailah's story. I hope that this story helps someone, and I hope that this could also just give someone the tools that they need to just pass love and positivity and encouragement on to the next person, to encourage them that it is worth staying, that it is worth being here, and it's so much to live for. As women, when we begin to heal ourselves, we heal others around us. So life is about healing and moving and operating in love, and you just want to do that every day that you're here. I want to say thank you all so much for just sitting with me, listening to Nailah's story, and I want you all to take care, you know, take care of yourselves for sure. So peace, love, blessings.
Let's talk about my sister. You've probably seen her. She is the owner of my life, and really, really, really love her. I the boy after me, and messed everything up as my mom said it in a different way. I just say it the way I say it, you know. But it has been hard walking on this earth without her by my side, doing TikToks and stuff with me. It's pretty hard. But, you know, she didn't put it in place, and I guess that's the place she wanted to be. But it's sad though. Cause I go to her a lot, and she was the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, she was the best sister my little bad self can have. She was pretty, cool, nice, bossy a little bit, and just overall best sister. Nailah, if you hear me, even if you're in a different place, you will always be in my heart. Bye, everybody.
I could treat you better, but that's not what you like. You got me waiting for you, but you're just not that guy. Had me thinking I was crazy, losing my mind, but no, hell no, baby. Waiting for you now, wishing that I had in prison. You didn't love me, that was in the past tense. Getting rid of you was losing my bad habits. All about all the way, feeling on the edge like I cannot grasp it. Did I make you change? Cause I can't stop asking. Getting rid of you was like the drug to my addict. All about all the way. Haven't had enough, I'm still moving on while you're with someone else. I'm making it go all the way.
Are you ready?
No, cause I don't know.
Okay, so.
Wait.
Yay! Come on. You got it though.
Yes!
Aria, I need your pinky in the
I
middle.
need braces.
Come on, I need your pinky, Nailah.
Okay. You can't even see it.
Where's your pinky, Aria?
I already did mine.
Well, come on, we're gonna do it again because this is the third one.
No,
Your
it's
pinky is
not.
little.
Bring the little pinky.
Aria is in the camera.
Not the whole hand. Come on, there you go. All right, this is the first 3 pinky promise. So we all gonna lock in together and do what we need to do to get this thing up off the ground. Okay, guys?
What thing?
This
Aria with your food videos, and you're gonna lock into your gymnastics. Nyla, you're gonna lock into your music and do what you have to do. Mommy's gonna be working hard. Sometimes we're gonna have to help each other. Aria, bring that pinky back. It's not official unless all pinkies are in. All right.
I can't even see it.
Everybody understand? Anybody else got anything to say before we finalize the pinky promise?
Your pinky's too tight.
Because yours keeps slipping.
Aria, cause you put there.
Yours is slippery. All right. 1, 2, 3. Pinky promise. 1, 2, 3. Pinky promise.
You're supposed to say pinky promise.
Come, let's do this.
Aria,
one
oh
more
my
time.
gosh. Are you gonna say it? Okay, ready?
If
One.
you give me juicy.
We're gonna say locked in.
You gotta please.
We're gonna say locked in.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Locked in.
Okay.
mental health awareness is very real, and I didn't realize that before until I actually had to go through it myself. I wouldn't recommend anybody give up. Love you guys with all my heart.